I'm here in the Jaarbeurs at Media Plaza, and I'm talking to Jasper Nijens. And why do I talk to him? Because he basically showed us how to get version 9 of the Tesla Autopilot in Europe, and also he told us a lot about interesting things about what is behind the Tesla system and how you can get into it yourself. So Jasper, thank you very much for coming all the way to the Netherlands. So we're going to talk about who is he, what does he do, and what did he, how did he hack the Tesla, and what is about version 9. So that's what you can expect in this talk. Okay, Jasper, first about you. You're a Linux junkie. What do you do for normal life?
So I am the founder of managing director of Linux Belgium, and we provide mostly consultancy services to companies doing Linux for system administration or for embedded Linux.
Yeah. So you do training all over the place, including the Netherlands. So if you want to know anything about Linux, you're the guy to talk to. Okay, you drive a Model X just like me, and when did you start to look into the system and what was behind the scenes?
Well, when I bought the car, immediately I actually sent an email to Elon Musk asking for root access. Mailing is maybe not the correct medium for him, but he didn't get an answer.
You didn't do it on Twitter?
No. So that didn't happen, and so I looked into how can I get root here, because obviously I wanted to have root on my own Linux car.
Of course. How can you own a gadget and not have root access? Okay. So how many computer systems are there? Big systems are there in the Model X?
So there are quite a few computer systems. First, there is the instrument display, instrument cluster behind the steering wheel. Then there is the big screen, 19-inch, which is called the CID, central display, I think. And then there is the Autopilot system. All these three systems run Linux. There is also a gateway. There is a Parrot for getting the internet connection, the gateway between the Autopilot as well. These gateway systems runs on FreeRTOS, which is a small embedded operating system. But so the big systems, they run Linux. Yep. Very interesting.
Yeah. So you can basically get access to the network of the computer on the computer on wheels. How can you get access to it? From inside, from outside?
So first you need to break open your car a little bit. The easiest way on the Model X is actually on the right side where the Autopilot is. There is a plastic cover. You can remove the plastic cover, and it's wide enough to unplug the Autopilot with a FACRA connector, which is a round connector. And then if you have your own crafted FACRA to Ethernet cable, you can use that to connect on the network and to connect to the central display, although it is protected on the network. So Tesla also gives a bounty if you find a way to get root remotely on their internal network. So they
get $10,000 reward or something like that.
So that's what they give for people who disclose their root methods to them. I have not personally found a method. I'm also not very interested in searching such a method. I could stumble across something like that, but then obviously the problem is, do you want to keep it for yourself so you are certain you will keep on getting root, or you go for the 10,000? And
just go for the responsible way so that people can. I mean, it's of course very normal that normal human beings don't have access to it. Okay, but so there's one thing is to get a connection to the network. But isn't there a very easy plug which everybody at the service center uses where you can connect to the network?
That's correct, but this one is blocked. So this one used to be an easy access point for people, but there is actually something blocking it. The service center can actually unlock it remotely, and then they can use that to gain access. So
that's the reason why I have to go in there. Okay, so show me the cable you created to get access to it. So first I have to go to the Autopilot system. And then let's take a look at that. And on one side you just have a normal Ethernet cable, and then here on this side, this is what goes into the
yeah, that's the FACRA connector.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So that is something you just buy and you solder this together. This is a standard. This is a standard cable out of the automobile, but you have to solder it yourself.
Well, you can even buy this as a so-called Tesla service cable on eBay, pre-soldered, where it's better connected and.
And I have connection to the network. And connected to my laptop. And then I go into terminal services. There you have a page on your presentation with all the IP numbers of the different systems. And then what?
Well, if you want to update the system,
I want to update. I want to update to version 9. Okay, so let's first. I mean, we'll include some video footage that you can see what version 9 does for you. But describe it in words first.
So it is really the next evolution of car-human interaction. I would say it's the car is doing all these features which Tesla promises on their website for enhanced autopilot.
For years.
For 2 years now almost. And it is really next level. So it means that the car will know which lane it needs to take to switch highways. It also can take itself on-ramp and off-ramp for the highways. When there is a speed difference between the car in front of you, it can automatically overtake this car. It doesn't currently switch back to the right.
Yeah.
So
that was a little feature. So it basically says if you say go 120, it will go automatically to the left and take over other cars. It won't go to the right. Elon, we love that feature for, we don't need it now. But next 9.2.
That's one of the reasons why it's not ready yet, I guess. Huh? So yeah, they didn't release it yet. So also there is some mapping, extra mapping, which is being done, which is available already for some highways in the US. This extra mapping information is not there yet. It's probably based upon the fleet learning, which they do with the normal cars.
And it describes how to go from one highway to the other highway and to make that more smooth.
Yeah, and the exact speed limitations, very fine pointed and so on, I assume. Without this information, it works already amazingly, but I'm sure it will, it does.
That's the fun thing of owning a Tesla. It gets better all the time. It's everything about Tesla is fun. The CEO and his behavior is fun, and the car and also the updates. Okay, so 9 really you want to have it because going from one highway to the other highway automatically and getting to the overtaking another car is also very, very nice. And there's a bunch of other stuff on your mobile phone. You can pre-do all the navigation and that kind of stuff. So.
And some games as well, some Atari games hidden. Yeah.
So we can have fun with that. But let's first get 9.1 on our system.
Another feature as well, which is really improved, is Auto Park.
Oh. That should be, because for Europe it sucks. So I'm glad it's better.
It sucked.
It sucked. Mine sucks and yours is great.
It is fantastic. It goes fast. Yeah. It goes exact. Yeah. It parks better than me.
Hooray! Hooray! So that's wonderful. Okay, so now get it on my how do I get it from the moment that I connect it to the computer to the navigation system? Oh no, the autopilot system. How do I get it updated?
So then you telnet to your central unit. You give it, you actually connect on the updater process, certain port number, which is on the display. Yeah. On the presentation, it will be somewhere in the movie.
2 lines of code, right?
You just launch the install command. I'm not sure if it will keep on working because this image I got, of course, indirectly somehow through Tesla. I'm not sure.
Do I have to download the image, the new image first? Or is it down, or does that go automatically?
So currently I put the image on my server. I'm not certain if Tesla doesn't like it, they can tell me. I put it down.
But do I first download the image from your server to my computer, and then from the computer it gets through the terminal session to the system?
It's not necessary because it needs to come from a web server. So if you run a web server on your laptop, but otherwise you can just.
It's 1 line of code to take it from his server and to put it into the system. How long does it take, the updating process?
So the downloading is about 1 GB. So I would recommend that you use your own Wi-Fi, so you don't overload the network of Tesla. And yeah, then it will download depending on the speed, maybe 15 minutes or something like that. What's important is that as soon as it starts downloading, plug your Autopilot back in. Because the system will verify if all the systems are there prior to launching the update.
After the download is done.
Yeah. So as soon as it starts download, after you've launched the install command, unplug your laptop and put the Autopilot back in. And then after 15 minutes, half an hour, it will give the regular update alert that the new update is ready. If you have the new app, it will also say on the app a new update is ready. You can launch the update. It will take about 45 minutes, an hour, depending.
You can launch the update in the normal way, that there's an update ready and you just double click and it installs itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
This is too easy, guys. Just too easy. That's wonderful. I'm really excited. Oh my God.
Now, once you've installed it, obviously be very careful because this is development software. Always pay attention, pay a lot more attention than what you used to do when you're driving on Autopilot. You can get comfortable maybe too early. Consider it really early release.
Really are good with Autopilot. Know it. Yeah, they expect that everything will work good, and you should be suspicious about that stuff. Okay, so then I install version 9, and then I have a couple of other items on my menu, right?
Well, of course the entire interface will be new. So now the most important feature everybody wants to experiment with is the Navigate on Autopilot. This is the Euro by default. So
you have to turn it on. Turn it on. That's another line of code that you have to copy paste. Yeah. So it's 2 lines of copy paste. One is just to install the higher software, and 2 is to turn off overtaking. How is that called officially?
Navigate on Autopilot.
Navigate on Autopilot to turn it on. So then you can see there's a lot of other things you can turn on and off. So even if you don't have root access, you can do a lot.
Well, the command I put on there is just to turn it on once. There is a way to make it a little bit more persistent, but then you need to have root access. So this, when you launch this command as I described, then it will actually, after about 10-20 seconds, restart the Qt application running on the main display. And in your router planning, you will have a button to say Navigate on Autopilot. And when you do that, it will indicate that it wants to change lanes. And you have to confirm this by using your stock. By using what? The turn indicator. Oh, the turn. Okay. Yeah. Oh,
you still have to do that.
You still have to do that, yeah. So you prefer that we go to the next level?
Of course, I don't want to do that anymore.
Then you need to have a third alarm. At least with the latest release I have, the 39.2.1, in which you explicitly allow this function. Okay. And then if you go to the settings of the Autopilot, you can say Customize Autopilot, and you can explicitly say that you don't want to have confirmation on lane change. It will give you an extra warning to double confirmation.
Are you sure? This is beta. Are you sure? Yeah.
Yeah, not only beta. I mean, it says, okay, are you very certain? Because it will do this at any time. It can start blinking. Yeah. The other people see that you are blinking. Yeah. They might take that into account, and they have some kind of human-car interaction as a result. Within a few seconds, it will change lanes.
Okay. Hey, version 9 then. Than the front camera, it's using the back camera, and is it also using the side camera? Did you figure out how many cameras it uses now?
So I think that currently it uses all the cameras except 2 side cameras. So the 2 repeater cameras on the sides are being used. I'm not sure about the other 2 because they show up on my car as not being calibrated. So. But yeah, the system works very well. It's front.
We have 3 cameras in the front. They use now.
I think they are used all 3, but I cannot verify that because I don't have root on my Autopilot system itself. Yeah. So it's very hard to get root on that one.
Okay. So it's easier to get root access to the entertainment system and to the dashboard system, right?
Yeah, so the dashboard behind the steering wheel, the private SSH key of that is leaked. So you can use that to gain root access to this system. Obviously, it's not a touchscreen, so you can only display stuff on it.
But I can basically change the graphics, into something which I think is fun, or I can put in nice words on there, so welcome or whatever.
Yeah, I've put a script online in which you can new images over the existing images, which means that it's only there as long as the script runs. Which is fun because I think it's important, to not disturb the people at service centers, and I just leave the original image intact. If you
reboot, it stops.
Well, unless you make it auto starting, so you can put it basically in the cron tab.
Can it? You say I can basically get access through the on the right hand side to the Autopilot system. Can I make a permanent connection to the network?
Yes. Then you have to build in a switch. So you need to find power somewhere. The best way, and actually I didn't do it through the best way yet, but the best way is actually to the ODBC connector. There it has a very good amount of current, and it's on the left-hand side next to the steering wheel. So that should be the best way to get power from the system permanently.
And then you need a switch.
Then you need to switch an Ethernet switch, and you can just reroute the cable from the back of the central unit and the instrument display to the switch, and then also add Raspberry Pi, for example, there. However, be careful, because the way I did it originally was by taking power from the USB port of the central unit, and then the service center got into problems. Because when the update is taking place, it restarts the central unit, and then it loses power to the switch, and it cannot communicate anymore to the unit behind.
So that's not a good. Okay, so you have to get it from the normal port for that. Okay, so there is a website you have, and is there also for you what is the name of the website?
freedomev.com. So freedom for freedom, and EV for electric vehicle.
What can I find on there?
So I've put some small movies. I put a GitHub link with all the source code of making colors fade on your screen. How to change any file using an bind mounting. Yeah, also romance modes I put in there. I put a conversation script in there. So on the last presentation, I actually had a conversation with the car using Ubuntu stick ch-rooted with speech translation.
Great fun. Okay, but now we want a little bit more. Okay, I want my own Christmas thing. I want to open doors and I want to close doors. I want to make sound and music and that kind of stuff. Can you already do that?
Well,
or you need root?
Yeah, you need root for that, of course.
But root for which system?
For the central unit. It's my goal. I also want to make a new version of the Christmas show, but I'm not there yet. So I've been focusing too much on this new firmware now instead of adding new stuff. Yeah.
But I mean, you already have the root access for that central unit. So, and in principle, you can open doors and close doors.
I have not tried it yet. So the problem is for that I need to send messages on the CAN bus. I can do that, but I don't know the exact CAN codes. I saw there is
Is it not encrypted, the CAN bus?
No, the CAN bus cannot be encrypted. CAN is really like an old-fashioned auto industry messaging bus, and there's no encryption on that bus. So.
Okay, so we only need to find out the addressing of the different parts and the command structure.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We can make our own Christmas show now. So the next thing, of course, is to basically can this car also be driven from remote?
When you are using the summon mode, it is already driving remotely. So I think the answer is yes.
It goes from there. But I mean, I just want to have my version 9 a little bit earlier, but it's really fun. Now, last thing we're going to discuss is what Tesla told you. You know, you are an ethical hacker. You don't want to do anything which is dangerous or unresponsible. How did Tesla react when you were doing this?
So they, well, first contact was of course with the service center, and this was a great experience. They were very forthcoming. Of course, they didn't want to give me route, which I found a sad thing. But when I came to them and I said I had forgotten to put some screws in there and didn't know where to put them, they just fixed it for me. And now before this conference, they sent me an email saying, okay, register yourself as a security researcher. And this means your warranty will not be voided. We will not sue you. We will help you if you brick your car several times, even if needs to be. So it's super friendly. Yeah.
And then also a bounty program. If you do find anything which is basically worrying, then they reward you.
Yeah.
And that is also yeah. So they're extremely responsible and pleasant. And did they also say, what don't we want you to do?
Not yet. So yeah, so I'm just experimenting. Some people in the hacker community, they told me to be careful for certain things, but till now, directly from Tesla, nothing feedback-wise, which was for me scaring or anything. No, only friendly response.
There's a great story about Jeep and Tesla, which got hacked at the same time. So people hacked into the bus, used the bus, got into the car, could accelerate the Tesla, could stop, could brake, could do anything, even remotely. The same with Jeep through the entertainment system. I mean, Tesla, you had to go in the bus, but there you could go in the entertainment system through Jeep and then get to the motorcycle and also basically stop the car and accelerate. Tesla said, wow, come over. And they gave them tickets, they gave them €10,000, had 500 people in the audience and applauded for them. And 3 days later, there was an over-the-air update. And what did Jeep do?
I don't know.
Sued them. They basically immediately put lawyers. They said, we're going to sue you, blah, 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 even though they were ethical hackers. And everybody had to go for 6 months later. 6 months later, there was an update, and everybody had to go to the dealer center and with a USB stick got an upgrade. So this is the 2018 way, to do the old way and the new way. But you'll be feeling very sympathetic, and you don't want to do anything which is irresponsible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's correct. I think Tesla is doing the right thing. I do hope that they will give root access to security researchers who register. In that way, also the current known root exploits, I'm sure they will be given to Tesla, because it's stupid that they are remaining hidden, and it can benefit everybody.
Okay. Hey, any idea about the quality of the software that you saw, or have you ever? How good are they from a security point of view? If you analyze them.
I do also security audits for Linux on embedded systems, and there's always room for improvement, of course. So there are a few things they could do to improve stuff. They already did a very good job, and often when explaining architecture, I use their architecture as an argument, extra argument to a customer to say it's better to do it in this way. But yeah, there is of course always room for improvement.
No, but they're very good. They are software boys. They are software boys who created the car.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, and also with respect to the backdoors, also I think the last half year there has been a significant improvement in the security of the system. They must have hired some extra good guys, I think, it's and there are some strange things, of course. So, for example, the central display, the kernel isn't. So it's a turned display, and it's not the kernel which has turned this. It's the Qt application, which actually is in user space been rotated. So,
I must say, I mean, they have been extremely slow in updates. If you look at how the screen looks, they were saying, oh, we're going to Android, we're going to have an app store, we're going to have this, we're going to have that. They didn't do anything of that. I mean, they promised to do full autonomous driving. They had this fantastic video online. I immediately sold my version 1.0 after 3 months and bought a new one. It was the most expensive update I ever did. And then I had a year long, a really bad version. because they had a quarrel with Mobileye. But they are not updating that part of the business very fast.
Yeah, I think it's also because of the fact that I was also a bit frustrated that that there were no new features on the central unit and so on. That I wanted to do stuff myself, and that's also why I created this Freedom EV project. I mean, Elon Musk also said, well, maybe we'll add karaoke mode. Personally, I'm not that much interested in karaoke mode, but in the open source community, there are people who like it. There is plenty of software available for it, and it can be easily integrated. Have a look at
Karaoke?
Yeah, this means that if you have music playing, that also displays a text, so you can sing along in the car.
Oh my God! Okay, yeah. So, yeah, that sounds like an Asian thing to do. So, hey, if do you also have a forum where you can discuss things? Where are you? Where are you on the Tesla board?
So on Tesla Motors Club, there is some room to discuss, of course. Also on Freedom EV, there is a way to exchange things and information. Yeah. So I hope that this will get a little bit alive. Now, coming back to the open source software, in version 9, there is this Atari emulator with a few games. This is actually just an open source project, main, which they integrated. Yeah. And this is, of course, way fun. It's really nice, but there are 10,000 of interesting open source.
That's why we want an app store, so that we want to have it in a nice, easy way, so that normal human beings can add things to it.
Yeah. That's what I want to build with Freedom EV, basically. Yeah.
Let's do that. And that's the way in contact with you. I mean, is your contact details are on that website?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Jasper. Okay. Thank you very much. This was. I will include some footage of him driving off the highway. You know, the off ramp and getting cars in, and it will be a lot of fun. I will put it in during this video interview, because we're now having it in for about 27 minutes. So, but I think that was really good. Hey, the slides of the presentation of today. Where can we find those?
On SlideShare. So,
yeah. And also on Freedom EV.
I'll put a link on Freedom EV. Yeah.
And on SlideShare, they are there under which name?
Jay Nijens is my name. So if you search for Tesla hacking presentation Utrecht Watts, I'm sure you'll find it. That's the name of the title. So.
Hey, enjoy the weekend.